Well, get ready for more blackouts of Fox TV stations. You've heard about the dispute between Fox and Cablevision that has kept 3 million customers from watching the World Series. Now, Dish Network customers in some cities may also lose Fox channels. Brad Adgate of Horizon Media has been following all this. He has been named a media industry all-star by Media Week magazine. He is with me right now in the newsroom. Brad, so glad to see you. What is the bottom line here? I mean, this is about fees at the end of the day, right?
Oh yeah, this is all about fees, and the problem is, what's the marketplace? What's the value does a cable operator pay for a broadcast network? We know what it is for cable networks. You know, typically it seems to be within about 50 cents to $1 a household, which pales in comparison to, say, an ESPN or a regional sports network.
So what else is coming? I mean, it seems like Dish could get in the mix here. I mean, could it lobby, for example, with maybe Cablevision to the FCC and try to put some pressure on News Corp?
Well, that's possible. I think the FCC, though, wants to stay away from this. I think they really want to let the industry decide, regulate itself. And the only way that the FCC is really looking into something is perhaps compensating Cablevision subscribers for the loss of the World Series.
Well, we did hear that Cablevision is even, I guess, giving something like $10 to the people who want to look up the game on the MLB network and sort of trying to help their own customers along. But they can't have these sort of Band-Aids forever.
No, they really can't. And like I said, this is going to get a lot worse than it gets better. I think the next one to watch, besides Dish and News Corp, which begins November 1st, is going to be Comcast and Turner, which expires at the end of this year. You know, Comcast made a deal, a 10-year deal with CBS in August, which valued CBS at 50 cents a household subscriber, going up to $1 perhaps by the end of 10 years. But CBS is the most watched broadcast network, over 10 million viewers. Fox is tops in adults 18 to 49, and cable networks pale in comparison to this.
So you say the timeline for this face-off between Turner and Comcast is going to be in the fall. So we're going to just hear more and more of this.
It'll be towards the end of this year. I think January 1st is the deadline. And of course, Turner now has March Madness, the NCAA tournament. You know, they have NBA basketball playoffs. They have a lot of high-profile original series. So again, this will be the next square-off. And of course, Comcast is now is bidding for NBC. And what type of leverage does Comcast have with that?
Brad, what are we going to see as far as what this means to channel positioning, if anything? I mean, what goes where on the bands?
Oh, there's all sorts of negotiations within negotiations with bundling of networks and channel positioning. Typically, the lower you are on the dial, the higher your rating is going to be. You know, cable networks want to be adjacent to either broadcast networks, or they want to be adjacent to an HBO or a regional sports network, because those are the networks that get the highest ratings on cable systems. You know, typically they'll give a price break if they're lower in the dial, because they'll get higher ratings and they'll get the money from advertising revenue.
And what does this mean as far as this big war between content and distribution?
Well, it's very, you know, it's very difficult. What you want to do is both. I think that's what the Comcast NBC Universal deal is about. That's what Disney has, you know, and so this, or I'm sorry, that's what Time Warner has. So, you know, that's really kind of trying to get max out in both. But really, you know, there's a value to content and there's a value to distribution. You know, you want to come to some agreement so that the consumers win.
All right, Brad, thanks so much for joining us. Always glad to see you. Our thanks to Brad Adgate of Horizon Media.